Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Independence and watched the alien ships appear in space. The 12 ships looked like nothing he had ever seen before. They were made of some kind of crystal that bent light around them. Each ship was 3 times larger than the biggest human warship. The alien vessels moved without making any sound and left no energy trail behind them. Captain Lisa Harper checked her instruments and looked worried. The readings made no sense. The alien ships had just traveled faster than light and appeared from nowhere. Human science said this was impossible, but here they were. The alien technology was far beyond anything humans had built. The human fleet waited in defensive positions around Earth. 6 destroyers floated in the outer ring. 4 cruisers held the middle position. 2 battleships stayed close to Earth as the last line of defense. All the ships carried nuclear missiles and railgun weapons. Admiral Morrison had spent months preparing for this moment. A signal came from the lead alien ship. The communication system crackled, and then a voice spoke in perfect English. The translator worked so well that it sounded like the alien was speaking naturally. The voice belonged to someone who called himself Veltar. The main screen flickered and showed the alien commander. Veltar had a long face and silver eyes that seemed to glow. His skin was pale blue, and his head was larger than a human head. He wore what looked like armor, made from the same crystal material as his ships. When he looked at the human fleet, his expression showed amusement. "Greetings from the Zephyrian Confederation," Veltar said. His voice carried a tone that made it clear he thought humans were children. "We have been watching your species for many years. Your progress has been interesting to observe." Commander Ryan Brooks stepped forward. He was the head of Earth Defense and had trained for this conversation. He knew that the first meeting with aliens would decide how they saw humanity. He kept his voice calm and professional. "Welcome to our solar system," Ryan said. "We are honored by your visit. What brings you to Earth?" Veltar smiled, and the expression did not look friendly. "We are here to evaluate your species. The Confederation must decide if humans are ready to join our alliance. We also must make sure that aggressive species do not become a threat to peaceful civilizations." The alien commander gestured toward the human ships. "Your vessels are quite primitive. We have studied your military technology through your broadcasts. These ships appear to be from your early space travel period. Do you have more advanced vessels hidden somewhere?" Admiral Morrison felt anger rise in his chest but kept his face neutral. The alien was insulting their best warships. The USS Independence was the most advanced ship humans had ever built. It carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon, yet this alien spoke about it like it was a toy. Captain Nicole Davis commanded the USS Defender, and her voice came over the communication link. "Admiral, these readings are off the charts. Their ships are generating energy levels we cannot even measure. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours." Veltar heard the transmission, and his smile grew wider. "Your officer speaks the truth. Our ships use quantum displacement drives and plasma fusion reactors. We have energy shields that can stop any attack. Our weapons can destroy planets if necessary." The alien commander walked closer to his screen. "Let me explain why we are here. The Confederation includes over 1,000 species. We maintain peace across this region of the galaxy. When a new species develops space travel, we must decide their fate." Lieutenant Amy Foster monitored the alien communications from her station. She noticed that other alien ships were scanning the human fleet. The scans were so detailed that they could probably count the screws in the hull plating. The aliens were learning everything about human technology. "Your species has an interesting history," Veltar continued. "You have fought many wars and developed powerful weapons. This makes some members of the Confederation nervous. Aggressive species often cause problems when they gain advanced technology." Dr. Kevin Martinez was Earth's expert on alien life. He had spent his career preparing for this moment. He studied Veltar's expressions and behavior. The alien commander showed all the signs of someone who thought he was dealing with inferior beings. "We are a peaceful species," Ryan said. "Our wars are in the past. We want to join the galactic community and learn from other civilizations." Veltar laughed, and the sound was not pleasant. "All species say this when they first meet us. Yet your ships carry enough weapons to sterilize continents. Your military forces are organized for conquest, not defense. We have seen this pattern before." The alien commander touched something on his control panel. "We will give you time to consider your options. You may choose to join the Confederation as a protected species. This means you will follow our laws and serve our interests. The other choice is to remain isolated until you prove you are not a threat." Admiral Morrison knew there was a third option that Veltar had not mentioned. If humans refused both choices, the aliens would probably destroy them. The technology gap was too large for any kind of fair fight. 12 alien ships could probably defeat the entire human space force. "How long do we have to decide?" Morrison asked. 3 of your days," Veltar replied. "This should be enough time for your leaders to understand the situation. We will wait here while you make your choice." The alien transmission ended and the screen went dark. The bridge of the USS Independence became very quiet. Everyone understood that humanity's future had just been decided by beings who saw them as primitive children. The worst part was that the aliens were probably right about human technology. Captain Lisa Harper broke the silence. "Admiral, what are our orders?" Morrison looked at the alien ships on his tactical display. They hung in space like predators waiting to strike. Their crystal hulls reflected starlight in patterns that hurt to look at. Each ship carried enough power to destroy every human settlement in space. "Send a message to Earth Command," Morrison said. "Tell them we need an emergency meeting of the Defense Council and prepare a detailed report on everything we just learned about alien capabilities." The real question was whether humanity had any cards left to play in this deadly game. The second day of negotiations began with Veltar demanding a demonstration. The alien commander appeared on screen looking even more amused than before. He had spent the night reviewing human military capabilities and found them lacking in every category. His silver eyes gleamed with the confidence of someone who held all the advantages. "Admiral Morrison," Veltar said with false politeness, "my officers have completed their analysis of your fleet. We find your weapon systems to be quite outdated. Perhaps you would benefit from seeing what modern military technology can accomplish." Admiral Morrison felt his jaw tighten, but kept his voice steady. "What kind of demonstration did you have in mind?" Veltar gestured to something off-screen. "There is a large asteroid in your outer system. We detected it during our arrival scan. It would make an excellent target for a simple weapons test. This will help you understand the gap between our capabilities." Captain Nicole Davis watched from the bridge of the USS Defender as one of the smaller alien ships broke formation. The vessel was only half the size of a human destroyer, but it moved with impossible grace. Its crystal hull began to glow with internal energy that pulsed like a heartbeat. Colonel Sam Peterson was Earth's military attaché, and he had been studying alien tactics since their arrival. He noticed that the aliens were being very careful to show their superiority without revealing too much about their technology. This demonstration was designed to crush human morale while keeping their secrets safe. The target asteroid was roughly the size of a small mountain. Human sensors had cataloged it years ago as just another piece of space rock. It contained mostly iron and nickel with no strategic value, the perfect target for an alien weapons test that would not damage anything important. Lieutenant Amy Foster coordinated the observation mission from multiple human ships. Every available sensor was focused on the alien vessel as it approached, the asteroid. The readings were unlike anything in human experience. The ship was building up energy levels that should have melted its hull. Dr. Kevin Martinez monitored the alien communications during the approach. He noticed that the Zephyrians were treating this like a routine training exercise. There was no excitement or concern in their voices. Destroying a mountain-sized asteroid was apparently just another day at the office for their military. The alien ship reached optimal firing position and stopped moving. For a moment, everything was quiet, except for the background hum of various sensor arrays. Then the crystal vessel began to change color from pale blue to brilliant white. The energy buildup was visible even to human eyes. Captain Tony Rodriguez commanded the USS Vigilant, and his science officer reported impossible readings. "Captain, the energy output is beyond our measurement scale. If that was a human reactor, it would have exploded by now. Their containment technology must be centuries ahead of ours." The alien weapon fired without any visible beam or projectile. 1 second the asteroid was there, and the next second it was gone. Not destroyed or broken. Apart but completely gone. The space where a mountain of rock had existed now contained only empty vacuum and a few scattered atoms. Commander Beth Williams from Naval Intelligence recorded every detail of the attack. Her instruments detected a brief gravity distortion, followed by a massive release of energy. The alien weapon had somehow converted matter directly into energy with perfect efficiency. This was technology that human science said was impossible. Veltar's voice came over the communication system with obvious satisfaction. "The weapon you just observed is standard equipment on our smallest vessels. It operates by disrupting atomic bonds at the quantum level. Very clean and very efficient." The alien commander paused to let the implications sink in. "Your most powerful nuclear weapons would require dozens of direct hits to achieve similar destruction. Our defensive screens can absorb such attacks indefinitely. We find it curious that your species believes these vessels could protect your homeworld." Admiral Morrison stared at the empty space where the asteroid had been. The human fleet carried enough nuclear weapons to destroy every major city on Earth. Yet according to the aliens, these weapons were completely useless against their technology. The strategic situation was even worse than their worst-case scenarios. Dr. Angela Thompson was monitoring the demonstration from her hidden laboratory on Luna. She was the head of a classified project that only a few people knew about. The alien weapons test confirmed her worst fears about the technology gap. Humanity would need every advantage they could find. Captain Danny Clark commanded the secret facility on the far side of the moon. His teams had been working around the clock since the aliens arrived. The weapons demonstration made their work even more urgent. They were running out of time to complete their preparations. Veltar continued his explanation with the tone of a teacher instructing slow students. "Your ships use chemical rockets and nuclear fusion. These are very primitive technologies. Our vessels operate using quantum manipulation and zero-point energy. The difference is like comparing stone tools to molecular assemblers." The alien commander touched his control panel, and additional information appeared on human screens. "We have encountered 47 species since beginning our expansion. All of them possessed more advanced technology than your current level. None of them were able to resist our military forces." Commander Grace Patterson was hidden inside an asteroid mining station and monitored alien communications. She noticed something important in their transmissions. The Zephyrians were supremely confident in their technological superiority. They had never faced an enemy that could match their capabilities. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Bennett coordinated with resistance cells throughout the solar system. The alien demonstration had shaken many people, but it had also angered them. Humans did not like being told they were inferior, especially by arrogant aliens who threatened their homeworld. "Your time for decision-making grows short," Veltar announced. "We have shown you the reality of your situation. Continued resistance will only lead to unnecessary destruction. The choice is simple surrender or face the consequences." The alien commander's image flickered as he prepared to end the transmission. "We will return tomorrow for your final answer. I suggest you use this time wisely. Consider what is best for your species' survival." The screen went dark and left the human fleet alone, with the memory of an asteroid being erased from existence. The demonstration had been perfectly calculated to show overwhelming force while highlighting human helplessness. It should have broken any thoughts of resistance. But Admiral Morrison was already planning humanity's response. The aliens had made one critical error in their demonstration. They had revealed that their weapons required time to charge and specific positioning to achieve maximum effect. Every weakness could be exploited by someone clever enough to find the right angle. Captain Lisa Harper noticed that several human ships were quietly changing their positions. The movements looked random, but they followed a pattern that she recognized from classified training exercises. Admiral Morrison was preparing for something that the aliens would not expect. The question was whether humanity had enough hidden cards to win a game where the other side held all the obvious advantages. In less than 24 hours, they would find out if human cunning could overcome alien technology. The stakes could not be higher, and failure meant the end of human independence forever. The emergency meeting took place in the most secure facility on Earth. Admiral Morrison sat at the head of a conference table surrounded by people who knew humanity's deepest secrets. The room was buried 3 miles underground and shielded from any possible alien surveillance. What they discussed here could determine the fate of their species. Dr. Angela Thompson activated a holographic display that showed technical blueprints unlike anything the aliens had seen. She was the head of the Prometheus project, which had been classified above top secret for 15 years. Only 12 people in the entire government knew it existed. The ships you saw yesterday are not our real fleet, Dr. Thompson began. They are decoys designed to hide our actual military capabilities. The USS Independence and her sister ships use deliberately outdated technology to maintain the illusion of primitive human engineering. Captain Danny Clark stood up and activated another hologram. This one showed sleek vessels that looked nothing like the crude human ships currently facing the aliens. Their hulls were made from advanced composites, and their design incorporated technology that should not exist on Earth. We have 47 ships hidden in various locations throughout the solar system, Captain Clark reported. Each one is equipped with weapons and defensive systems that rival anything the Zephyrians have shown us. The aliens have no idea these ships exist. Commander Ryan Brooks looked stunned by the revelation. How is this possible? Where did we get such advanced technology? Dr. Thompson smiled for the first time since the aliens arrived. 15 years ago, a research team in Antarctica discovered something buried in the ice. It was a spacecraft that had crashed on Earth over 300 years ago. The vessel belonged to an alien species called the HFY. The hologram changed to show the crash site and the recovered alien technology. The ship had been damaged, beyond repair, but its computer systems were intact. Inside those computers was a treasure trove of scientific knowledge that human scientists had spent decades learning to understand. The HFY were an advanced civilization that controlled this region of space before the Zephyrians conquered them, Dr. Thompson continued. Before their defeat, they scattered technology caches throughout the galaxy. They hoped that future species might use their knowledge to resist Zephyrian expansion. Captain Tony Rodriguez had been briefed on parts of the project, but never the full scope. Why keep it secret for so long? This technology could have solved every problem on Earth. Colonel Maria Santos answered from her position at the table. Because we knew this day would come. Our intelligence services detected signs of alien surveillance decades ago. We needed the Zephyrians to believe we were primitive until we were ready to fight back. The holographic display showed detailed scans of the Zephyrian fleet. Their crystal ships were impressive, but they had weaknesses that the HFY had learned to exploit. The ancient aliens had fought the Zephyrians for centuries before finally losing. Their knowledge would give humanity crucial advantages. Lieutenant, Colonel Paul Bennett coordinated the secret resistance network that had been built over years of preparation. We have teams positioned throughout the solar system, mining stations, weapon platforms, and hidden bases that the aliens have not detected. When we strike, it will be coordinated and overwhelming. Dr. Helen Murphy was the chief engineer for the hidden fleet. She explained how human scientists had reverse-engineered HFY technology and improved upon it. Our ships use quantum displacement drives just like the aliens. Our weapons can penetrate their energy shields. Most importantly, our stealth systems can hide us from their sensors. Admiral Morrison studied the tactical displays and felt hope for the first time since the aliens arrived. What about their weapons? Can our ships survive their attack? Captain Steve Parker commanded one of the hidden vessels and had run extensive simulations. Our defensive screens use a different frequency than Zephyrian shields. Their weapons will be less effective against us. We also have point defense systems that can intercept their energy beams. The meeting continued for hours as they planned humanity's response to the alien ultimatum. Every detail had to be perfect because they would only get one chance to surprise the Zephyrians. If their attack failed, the aliens would adapt and become much harder to defeat. Commander Alex Turner revealed another crucial advantage that humanity possessed. The HFY computers contain detailed information about Zephyrian psychology and tactics. They are supremely overconfident and have not faced serious resistance in centuries. This makes them predictable. Dr. Jonathan Lee had spent years studying alien military doctrine through the recovered databases. The Zephyrians always follow the same pattern when conquering a new species. They demonstrate superior technology, then demand surrender. If the target refuses, they launch an overwhelming attack designed to break resistance quickly. Captain Rachel Adams commanded the stealth reconnaissance network that had been watching the alien fleet. Their ships are positioned exactly as the HFY predicted. They are spread out to cover all possible escape routes. This formation is vulnerable to the right kind of attack. The plan that emerged from the meeting was elegant in its simplicity. Humanity would appear to accept defeat while secretly positioning their hidden fleet for a coordinated strike. The aliens would move closer to Earth, expecting easy victory. Then the trap would spring. Commander Linda Scott was responsible for timing the operation. We need to wait until they commit their entire fleet to the attack. If even one ship escapes, it could warn other Zephyrian forces. This has to be a complete victory. Dr. Kevin Martinez had been studying Zephyrian communications and noticed important patterns. They report to a command structure that expects regular updates. If we can capture their communication equipment, we might be able to delay reinforcements. Meeting ended with everyone understanding their role in the coming battle. Admiral Morrison would continue playing the part of a defeated commander while secretly coordinating the counterattack. The hidden fleet would remain concealed until the perfect moment to strike. As the participants left the underground facility, they knew that humanity's future depended on their ability to maintain the deception for just a few more hours. The aliens believed they were dealing with primitive humans who posed no real threat. Soon they would learn how wrong they were. Captain Gary Mitchell commanded the USS Freedom and would play a crucial role in the deception. His ship would appear to lead the human retreat, while actually drawing the aliens into the kill zone. It was a dangerous mission that required perfect timing. The final preparations began as teams throughout the solar system received their orders. Weapons were charged, stealth systems activated, and targeting computers synchronized. Humanity was about to show the galaxy what happened when someone underestimated the species from the small blue planet. The Zephyrians had laughed at Earth's outdated warships. Tomorrow they would discover that humans had been waiting for them to make the first move. The hunters were about to become the hunted, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Zephyrian attack began exactly 72 hours after their ultimatum expired. Veltar appeared on screen one final time with an expression of cold satisfaction. His silver eyes showed no emotion as he prepared to demonstrate what happened to species that refused Zephyrian authority. "Admiral Morrison, your time has ended," Veltar announced. "You have chosen to resist rather than accept our generous offer of protection. This decision will have consequences that your species will remember for generations." 3 of the alien crystal ships moved into attack formation while the others maintained their positions around Earth. The attacking vessels began to glow with the same energy buildup that had destroyed the asteroid. Their weapons charged slowly and deliberately to maximize the psychological impact on human observers. Admiral Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Independence and played his role perfectly. "Veltar, please reconsider. Our weapons cannot match your technology. This attack will accomplish nothing except needless destruction." The alien commander smiled without warmth. "The attack will accomplish exactly what we intend. Your fleet will be destroyed, and your species will understand the price of defiance. Perhaps after this demonstration, your leaders will be more reasonable." Captain Lisa Harper coordinated the human response with carefully controlled panic in her voice. "All ships scatter formation. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Ready all weapons for defensive fire." The human fleet began to spread out in what appeared to be a desperate attempt to avoid the alien attack. The USS Liberty moved to the front of the formation and launched a full spread of nuclear missiles at the nearest Zephyrian ship. The warheads detonated against alien shields in brilliant flashes that accomplished nothing. Captain Gary Mitchell commanded the USS Freedom and broadcast on open channels. "Direct hit on target Alpha. No visible damage. Their shields are holding. Repeat, our weapons are ineffective." Veltar watched the human attack with obvious amusement. The primitive missiles bounced off Zephyrian shields like pebbles thrown at armor plating. The energy output of human nuclear weapons was impressive for such a backward species, but completely inadequate against modern defensive technology. The first alien energy beam lanced out and struck the USS Liberty dead center. The human ship exploded in a ball of superheated plasma that could be seen from Earth orbit. Captain Nicole Davis and her crew of 400 disappeared in an instant as their vessel was converted to basic atoms. Lieutenant Amy Foster monitored alien communications from her position on the Independence. The Zephyrians were following their predicted pattern exactly. They were focusing on destroying the most visible human ships while ignoring smaller vessels that appeared to be fleeing. Commander Grace Patterson was hidden inside a hollowed-out asteroid and watched the battle through passive sensors. The alien attack was proceeding according to the Kethvar tactical analysis. The Zephyrians were supremely confident and making no effort to protect their flanks. 2 more alien ships joined the attack and targeted the human cruisers. The USS Defender attempted evasive maneuvers, but the alien weapons tracked their movement perfectly. Captain Danny Clark watched from his concealed position as another human ship died in nuclear fire. Dr. Kevin Martinez monitored the alien command frequency and heard exactly what they expected. Veltar was ordering his ships to pursue the fleeing human vessels and finish them quickly. The alien commander wanted to end this demonstration before human resistance could embarrass him further. The USS Vigilant and USS Guardian appeared to suffer critical damage from near misses. Both ships began broadcasting emergency signals and started moving toward the outer system. Their nuclear drives left bright energy signatures that masked the activation of hidden systems throughout the solar system. Captain Tony Rodriguez played his part perfectly as the Vigilant limped away from the battle. Multiple hull breaches. On deck 7 through 12. Main power offline, requesting immediate assistance from any available vessels. Veltar ordered his entire fleet to pursue the damaged human ships. This was the moment that Admiral Morrison had been waiting for. The aliens were abandoning their defensive formation and moving into the kill zone, where humanity's hidden weapons could strike with maximum effect. Commander Ryan Brooks watched from Earth as the alien fleet spread out to hunt down the fleeing human vessels. The crystal ships moved with deadly grace, but they were exposing themselves to attack from directions they had not considered. Captain Steve Parker received the activation signal from his concealed position near Jupiter. The hidden human fleet began powering up systems that had been dormant for years. 47 advanced warships started moving toward combat positions while maintaining perfect stealth. Dr. Angela Thompson monitored the technical aspects of the operation from her command center. The Kethvar technology was performing flawlessly. Human ships were approaching the alien fleet without being detected. The element of surprise was complete. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Bennett coordinated with resistance cells throughout the solar system. Hidden weapon platforms came online and began targeting the alien ships. Mining stations revealed concealed missile batteries. The trap was ready to spring. The moment came when Veltar ordered his ships to finish off the remaining human vessels. The alien commander wanted to end this embarrassing display of primitive defiance. His fleet moved into position for the final attack, completely unaware of what was about to happen. Admiral Morrison gave the signal that changed everything. All units, this is Morrison. Execute Operation Retribution immediately. Repeat, execute Operation Retribution. The hidden human fleet dropped their stealth systems and appeared throughout the solar system. 47 advanced warships materialized around the surprised Zephyrian fleet. Each human vessel looked nothing like the crude ships the aliens had been fighting. Captain Rachel Adams led the first attack wave as her ship emerged from concealment directly behind the alien flagship. Target acquired. All weapons hot. Firing now. The human energy weapons struck Zephyrian shields with devastating effect. The alien defensive screens flickered and failed under the concentrated bombardment. Veltar's flagship shuddered as human plasma beams carved through its crystal hull. Commander Alex Turner coordinated the systematic destruction of alien vessels caught out of position. Target Delta is breaking apart. Target Gamma has lost main power. Target Epsilon is attempting to retreat. The Zephyrian fleet found itself surrounded by technology they thought impossible for such a primitive species. Their own ships were caught scattered and unable to form defensive formations. The hunters had become the hunted in the span of seconds. Veltar's voice came over the communication system filled with shock and disbelief. "This is impossible. Your species lacks the technology for such vessels. Where did you acquire these capabilities?" Admiral Morrison smiled as he answered the alien commander. "We learned from the best teachers available. The Kethvar left us everything we needed to deal with Zephyrian expansion. Consider this their final revenge." The battle for Earth had begun and humanity was winning. The space battle lasted exactly 18 minutes and 23 seconds. By the time the shooting stopped, half of the Zephyrian fleet was destroyed, and the remaining ships were surrounded by human vessels they had never imagined could exist. Veltar's flagship hung dead in space with its crystal hull cracked and its weapons offline. Captain Steve Parker led the assault squadron that eliminated 4 alien ships in the opening minutes of combat. The human plasma weapons were specifically designed to counter Zephyrian shield technology. Where alien energy beams had bounced off their defenses, human weapons punched through like paper. Dr. Helen Murphy watched from her engineering station as the Kethvar legacy systems proved their worth. The ancient aliens had fought the Zephyrians for centuries and learned exactly how to defeat their technology. Every weakness had been cataloged and every countermeasure developed. Commander Alex Turner commanded the USS Retribution and found himself in position to deliver humanity's ultimatum to the surviving aliens. His ship appeared directly in front of Veltar's damaged flagship with weapons charged and ready to fire. "Attention Zephyrian vessels," Turner broadcast on all frequencies. "You are surrounded and outgunned. Surrender immediately or face complete destruction. You have 60 seconds to comply." The alien commander's response came through static, filled with disbelief. "This cannot be happening. Our intelligence indicated that your species possessed only primitive technology. Where did these ships come from?" Admiral Morrison took control of the communication channel from his position on the Independence. "The ships came from human ingenuity and the wisdom of species that came before us. The Kethvar may have fallen to your empire, but their knowledge lives on." 3 Zephyrian vessels attempted to break through the human encirclement and escape to warn their empire. Captain Rachel Adams coordinated the intercept mission that stopped them cold. The alien ships found their retreat blocked by human vessels equipped with faster-than-light interdiction systems. Dr. Angela Thompson monitored the technical aspects of the alien surrender from her command center. The Zephyrian ships were powering down their weapons and dropping their shields one by one. Their crews had no choice but to accept defeat at the hands of a species they had considered primitive. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Bennett led the boarding parties that secured the alien vessels. Human Marines equipped with advanced armor stormed through crystal corridors and captured Zephyrian crew members who were still in shock from their sudden reversal of fortune. The interrogation of captured alien officers revealed the true scope of the Zephyrian Empire. Commander Linda Scott led the intelligence teams that extracted information from alien computers. What they found was worse than anyone had imagined. Dr. Jonathan Lee analyzed the data recovered from Zephyrian databases. The Empire controls over 200 star systems and has enslaved dozens of intelligent species. They maintain their power through technological superiority and ruthless suppression of any resistance. Captain Gary Mitchell discovered files that detailed the conquest of other civilizations. The Zephyrians followed the same pattern everywhere they went. They offered false choices to new species, then destroyed anyone who refused to submit. Billions of beings had died to feed their expansion. The most shocking revelation came from Veltar himself during his interrogation. Commander Grace Patterson conducted the questioning while human technicians extracted data from his personal computer systems. "Your empire has been expanding for over 1,000 years," Patterson said. "How many species have you destroyed?" Veltar's silver eyes showed no emotion as he answered. 17 species chose extinction rather than service. Their homeworlds were sterilized as examples to others. The Confederation requires absolute obedience from member species. Dr. Kevin Martinez studied the psychological profiles of Zephyrian leadership and found disturbing patterns. The aliens viewed other species as resources to be exploited rather than beings with rights. Their entire culture was built around the concept of technological superiority, giving them the right to rule. Captain Tony Rodriguez led the team that analyzed alien military doctrine. Their forces are spread thin across multiple fronts. They rely on overwhelming individual battles quickly rather than fighting extended campaigns. This is a critical weakness we can exploit. The strategic implications became clear as more intelligence was gathered. The Zephyrian Empire was powerful, but not invincible. Their technology had stagnated due to overconfidence and lack of meaningful opposition. They had grown weak through centuries of easy victories. Admiral Morrison convened a meeting of senior officers to discuss humanity's next moves. The question was no longer whether they could defend Earth, but whether they should take the fight to the aliens and liberate other enslaved species. Captain Danny Clark presented options for expanding the secret fleet. "We can build more ships using Kethvar technology. The industrial capacity exists if we commit to a long-term military buildup. Within 5 years, we could field a fleet capable of challenging the Empire directly." Dr. Angela Thompson warned about the risks of such an ambitious plan. "The Zephyrians will adapt once they understand what happened here. They will develop countermeasures to our technology and change their tactics. We need to move quickly before they can respond." Commander Ryan Brooks supported immediate action. "Every day we delay means more suffering for the species under alien control. We have the advantage now and should use it while we can." The debate continued through the night as humanity grappled with its new responsibilities. They had defeated the aliens sent to conquer Earth, but that was only the beginning. The question was whether a single planet could challenge an empire that spanned hundreds of star systems. Captain Steve Parker volunteered to lead the first interstellar mission. The Kethvar databases contain the locations of other resistance movements. Some species are still fighting even after decades of occupation. If we can coordinate with them, we can start a galaxy-wide rebellion. Admiral Morrison made the decision that would define humanity's future. "We did not ask for this war, but we will finish it. The Zephyrian Empire has terrorized this region of space for too long. It is time for their victims to fight back. The first human interstellar fleet began forming within days of the battle. Ships were loaded with HFY technology and crewed by volunteers from Earth's military forces. Their mission was to contact other resistance movements and coordinate attacks. On Zephyrian positions, Captain Morgan Ellis commanded the lead vessel as the fleet prepared for departure. We are carrying more than weapons and supplies. We are carrying hope to species that thought they were alone. The galaxy is about to learn that humanity does not forget its friends or forgive its enemies. The war for galactic freedom was about to begin, and Earth intended to lead the fight. The aliens had laughed at humanity's outdated warships, but they were not laughing anymore. The hunters had become the hunted, and the age of Zephyrian dominance was coming to an end. The first interstellar mission launched 3 weeks after the battle for Earth. Captain Morgan Ellis stood on the bridge of the UES Liberation as his ship engaged its quantum displacement drive for the first time. The technology that once seemed impossible was now propelling humanity toward the stars and their first attempt to free another world. The target was a planet called Kepler-7, where intelligence from captured Zephyrian computers indicated an active resistance movement. The native species called themselves the Thekani and had been fighting a guerrilla war against their occupiers for 15 years. Most importantly, they possessed industrial facilities that could help build more ships. Dr. Angela Thompson had spent weeks preparing the technological packages that the fleet carried. Each ship contained manufacturing equipment and technical data that could help liberated species build their own advanced weapons. The goal was to create a network of resistance rather than a human empire. Commander Alex Turner commanded the escort squadron that would protect the Liberation during its mission. His ships carried the most advanced weapons humanity had developed, including improved versions of HFY energy systems. The aliens would not catch them unprepared again. The journey to Kepler-7 took 8 days using the quantum drive system. Captain Ellis used the time to study everything known about the planet and its inhabitants. The Thekani were silicon-based life forms that had achieved spaceflight centuries before the Zephyrians arrived. They were natural engineers and had adapted their technology for underground resistance operations. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Bennett commanded the Marine contingent that would coordinate with local resistance forces. His teams carried portable manufacturing units that could produce advanced weapons using local materials. The plan was to arm the native population and help them drive out their occupiers. The fleet dropped out of quantum space at the edge of the Kepler-7 system and immediately activated stealth systems. Long-range sensors detected 12 Zephyrian ships in orbit around the planet, along with several mining stations and a military base on the largest moon. Captain Rachel Adams led the reconnaissance mission that gathered detailed intelligence on alien positions. Her ship used advanced sensors to map every Zephyrian installation while remaining completely undetected. The occupying force was smaller than expected, but well-positioned to control the planet. Dr. Kevin Martinez analyzed the intercepted alien communications and discovered that the local commander was requesting reinforcements. The Thekani resistance had been more effective than usual, and the Zephyrians were losing control of several underground cities. Commander Grace Patterson established contact with the resistance using communication frequencies found in the HFY databases. The response came from deep underground and carried decades of desperation mixed with sudden hope. The voice belonged to someone who called himself Teclon and claimed to speak for the Unified Resistance Council. Unknown vessels, this frequency has been silent for 300 years. Who are you, and how do you possess HFY communication codes? Captain Ellis responded carefully, knowing that trust would take time to build. We are humans from the planet Earth. We recently defeated a Zephyrian invasion fleet using technology left behind by your ancient allies. We have come to help you. Drive the occupiers from your world. The silence that followed lasted several minutes before Teclon responded. Humans are listed in Zephyrian databases as a primitive species. How did you acquire advanced technology? Dr. Jonathan Lee transmitted. Technical specifications that proved human capabilities. The data included detailed scans of Zephyrian weaknesses and weapon systems designed specifically to counter alien defenses. The evidence was overwhelming. Teclon's next transmission carried excitement that had been absent for decades. The readings are authentic. Your weapons could penetrate their shields. Your ships could challenge their orbital positions. How many vessels do you command? The meeting between human and Thekani forces took place in an abandoned mining complex deep beneath the planet's surface. Captain Ellis and his team wore environmental suits while their hosts appeared as tall, crystalline beings with multiple arms and glowing internal organs. Teclon gestured to holographic displays that showed the resistance network spanning the entire planet. We have been fighting for 15 years with captured weapons and improvised explosives. Our people dream of the day when Zephyrian ships no longer darken our skies. Lieutenant Colonel Bennett studied the tactical situation and saw opportunities that the aliens had missed. Your underground cities are invisible to their sensors. We can establish manufacturing facilities that will mass-produce advanced weapons. Within months, you could field a force capable of surface operations. The Thekani leader's internal light pulsed with colors that indicated strong emotion. You offer us hope that we thought was lost forever. But the Zephyrians will send reinforcements if we become too successful. How do we prevent their fleet from destroying everything we build? Captain Ellis smiled and activated his own holographic display. Leave their fleet to us. Human ships will engage them in space while your forces attack their ground installations. The coordination will prevent them from responding effectively to either threat. Dr. Angela Thompson began setting up the manufacturing equipment that would transform the resistance movement into a real army. The portable units could produce energy weapons armor and communication gear using raw materials found in the planet's crust. Commander Ryan Brooks coordinated with the Thekani engineers to modify human designs for local conditions. The native species had different physical requirements, but their technical knowledge was impressive. The collaboration produced weapons that were better than either side could have built alone. The first joint operation targeted a Zephyrian mining facility that had been strip mining rare minerals for decades. Thekani guerrillas used new human weapons to overwhelm the guards, while Captain Adams eliminated the orbital support ship that tried to intervene. The success of the raid sent shockwaves through the occupying forces. For the first time in years, they were facing organized resistance with advanced technology. The local Zephyrian commander sent increasingly desperate requests for reinforcements. Captain Tony Rodriguez intercepted the alien communications and learned that help was already on the way. A battle fleet of 30 ships was traveling toward Kepler-7 and would arrive within 2 weeks. The liberation forces would have to work quickly. Dr. Helen Murphy supervised the construction of planetary defense systems using a combination of human and Thekani technology. The orbital weapons platforms would be invisible to Zephyrian sensors until they opened fire. The aliens would face a very unpleasant surprise when their reinforcements arrived. Teclon coordinated the evacuation of exposed resistance cells while preparing for the final battle. Our people have waited 300 years for this moment. We will not waste the opportunity that humanity has given us. The stage was set for the first interstellar victory against the Zephyrian Empire. Captain Ellis watched as human and Thekani forces prepared for the coming storm. The aliens had ruled through fear and overwhelming force for centuries. They were about to learn that some species refused to stay conquered. The liberation of Kepler-7 would be just the beginning. Intelligence gathered from captured computers revealed dozens of other worlds where resistance movements waited for help. Humanity was building an alliance that would span the galaxy and challenge the Empire on every front. The Zephyrians had created their own doom through centuries of cruelty and oppression. Every species they had conquered became a potential ally for humanity. The galaxy was about to discover that freedom was contagious and that some fires could not be extinguished. The Zephyrian reinforcement fleet arrived at Kepler-7 exactly when their intercepted communications had predicted. 30 crystal ships dropped out of quantum space, expecting to find a minor rebellion that needed suppressing. Instead, they flew directly into the largest space battle the galaxy had seen in 3 centuries. Admiral Jake Morrison commanded the human fleet from his flagship, the USS Vengeance. The ship was the newest design incorporating lessons learned from the battle for Earth. Its weapons could punch through Zephyrian shields, and its defenses could absorb alien energy beams without serious damage. The alien fleet was led by War Commander Zethkar, who had crushed 17 rebellions during his long career. His flagship, the Crystal Fang, carried enough firepower to sterilize continents. He had never faced an enemy that could match Zephyrian technology until today. Captain Morgan Ellis coordinated the opening attack from his position aboard the UES Liberation. All human vessels execute Attack Pattern 7. Thakani defense platforms activate on my mark. Remember, we need to capture their command ship intact. The battle began when hidden orbital weapons platforms revealed themselves throughout the system. The Thakani had used their underground industrial facilities to build dozens of automated defense systems. Zephyrian ships found themselves under attack from directions they had not expected. Commander Alex Turner led the assault squadron that targeted the alien escort vessels. His ships used hit-and-run tactics that the Zephyrians had never encountered before. Human vessels would fire devastating volleys and disappear before the aliens could respond effectively. Dr. Angela Thompson monitored the battle from the command center buried deep beneath Kepler-7's surface. Her screen showed friendly forces winning engagement after engagement as Zephyrian formations broke apart under coordinated attacks. The alien war commander tried to restore order by focusing his fire on the most visible human ships. All vessels concentrate on the lead enemy units. Their technology should not be able to penetrate our defenses. Find their weakness and exploit it immediately. Captain Rachel Adams commanded the stealth squadron that was systematically destroying Zephyrian supply ships. The aliens had brought everything needed for a long occupation, including troop transports and construction equipment. Without those ships, they could not maintain their position even if they won the space battle. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Bennett led the ground assault that captured 3 alien installations while the space battle raged overhead. Thakani guerrillas equipped with human weapons overwhelmed surprised Zephyrian garrisons that had never faced such organized resistance. The turning point came when Commander Grace Patterson's ship disabled the Crystal Fang's main weapons. The alien flagship was left defenseless as human vessels closed in for the capture. War Commander Zethkar found himself facing the same choice that Veltar had been given at Earth. Surrender your vessel immediately, Admiral Morrison broadcast to the alien commander. Your fleet is defeated and your mission has failed. Further resistance will only result in unnecessary casualties. Zethkar's response carried centuries of arrogance and disbelief. This outcome is impossible. The Confederation has ruled this region for 1,000 years. No primitive species has ever challenged our authority successfully. Dr. Kevin Martinez had been studying Zephyrian psychology through interrogations of captured officers. Admiral, he cannot accept that his empire is vulnerable. His entire worldview is based on technological superiority. Defeat by inferior species is literally unthinkable. The alien war commander ordered his remaining ships to ram the human vessels in suicide attacks. Several Zephyrian captains ignored the order and surrendered instead. The Empire's absolute authority was cracking as individual commanders chose survival over pointless death. Captain Tony Rodriguez intercepted the frantic communications between surviving alien ships. They are requesting emergency reinforcements from Sector Command. The local commander admits that human technology is superior to their own. The space battle ended with the capture of 18 Zephyrian vessels and the destruction of the rest. Not a single human ship was lost, though several suffered damage from desperate alien attacks. The victory was complete and devastating to Zephyrian morale. Teclon addressed the combined human and Thekani forces from the liberated capital city. Today we have proven that the Empire can be defeated. Word of this victory will spread to every enslaved world. The fire of rebellion will burn across the galaxy. Dr. Jonathan Lee analyzed the intelligence recovered from captured alien computers. The Zephyrians have been intercepting our communications and studying our technology. They know about the Kethvar databases and are developing countermeasures. The PAI discovery created urgency for the liberation campaign. Admiral Morrison called a strategy meeting with human and Thekani commanders. We have a window of opportunity before the Empire adapts to our advantages. We need to move fast and hit multiple targets simultaneously. Captain Danny Clark had been coordinating with resistance movements on a dozen other worlds. Intelligence indicates that 17 species are ready to rebel if they receive support. We can trigger a galaxy-wide uprising that the Zephyrians cannot suppress. Commander Ryan Brooks studied the strategic situation and saw both opportunities and dangers. The Empire controls over 200 systems with thousands of ships. Even with our advantages, we cannot fight them all at once. We need to be selective about our targets. Dr. Angela Thompson proposed a solution that would multiply their effectiveness. We establish industrial bases on liberated worlds and teach local species to build their own advanced weapons. Each successful rebellion becomes a center for spreading the technology further. The plan that emerged would transform the galactic balance of power. Human fleets would provide the initial breakthrough while liberated species built their own forces. The Zephyrian Empire would face rebellions faster than they could suppress them. Captain Steve Parker volunteered to lead the next mission to a world called Sigma Prime, where the native species had maintained a secret industrial base for decades. The Vectar have been preparing for rebellion since their conquest. They just needed weapons that could challenge Zephyrian technology. War Commander Zethkar was interrogated by Commander Linda Scott, who extracted crucial information about Empire military doctrine. Their forces are already stretched thin, fighting multiple minor rebellions. A coordinated uprising would overwhelm their ability to respond. The intelligence revealed that the Zephyrian Empire was far more fragile than it appeared. Centuries of oppression had created hatred throughout their territory. The only thing that had prevented galaxy-wide rebellion was the lack of advanced weapons. Admiral Morrison approved the expansion of liberation operations to 12 worlds simultaneously. We will give every enslaved species the tools they need to fight for their freedom. The Empire built their power on fear and overwhelming force. We will show the galaxy that they can be beaten. The second phase of the Galactic War was about to begin. Human technology combined with local knowledge would create an unstoppable force for liberation. The Zephyrians had ruled through divide-and-conquer tactics for 1,000 years. Now their victims would unite against them. Captain Morgan Ellis prepared his ship for the journey to Sigma Prime, knowing that each successful mission brought galactic freedom closer. The Empire would not fall easily, but it would fall. Too many species had suffered for too long under alien oppression. The liberation fleets departed from Kepler 7 carrying hope to worlds that had almost forgotten what freedom meant. The galaxy was about to discover that some fires once lit could never be extinguished. The age of Zephyrian dominance was ending and a new era of freedom was beginning. 5 years after the battle for Earth, the galactic map had changed beyond recognition. The Zephyrian Empire that once controlled 200 star systems now held fewer than 50. Rebellions burned across their territory as liberated species, used human technology to free their neighbors and build new alliances. Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the command center of Terra Station, the massive orbital facility that coordinated liberation operations across the galaxy. The holographic display showed green lights marking free worlds and red lights indicating systems still under alien control. The green was winning. Captain Morgan Ellis had become the most successful liberation commander in human history. His fleet had freed 17 worlds and established industrial centers that were building ships faster than the Zephyrians could destroy them. Each victory made the next mission easier as word spread that the Empire could be defeated. The latest intelligence reports painted a picture of an empire in collapse. Dr. Kevin Martinez analyzed intercepted communications from Zephyrian High Command. Their military is deserting in massive numbers. Entire fleets are refusing orders to attack civilian populations. The psychological foundation of their authority is cracking. War Commander Zethkar had become an unexpected ally after his capture at Kepler 7. The alien officer studied human tactics and gradually understood that his empire had created its own destruction through centuries of cruelty. He now advised liberation forces on Zephyrian weaknesses. The Confederation was built on the belief that technological superiority granted the right to rule, Zethkar explained to human officers. When that superiority was challenged, the entire system began to fall apart. My people do not know how to function as equals rather than masters. The Thekani had become humanity's closest allies, and their industrial capabilities were producing ships at an incredible rate. Teklon commanded a fleet of 200 vessels that had liberated 6 worlds in the past year. Other species were following their example and building their own military forces. Captain Rachel Adams led the intelligence network that coordinated resistance movements across the galaxy. Her teams had established communication links with underground groups on over 100 worlds. The liberation was becoming a self-sustaining phenomenon that no longer required direct human intervention. Dr. Angela Thompson supervised the technological sharing program that was revolutionizing galactic civilization. Advanced manufacturing techniques and energy systems were spreading from world to world. Species that had been held in technological stagnation for centuries were leaping ahead by decades in just a few years. The most dramatic change was psychological rather than technological. Commander Alex Turner had observed the transformation during his missions to newly liberated worlds. The species we free do not just want their own freedom. They want to help others achieve the same thing. Liberation is becoming a galactic movement, Captain. Tony Rodriguez commanded the deep strike missions that targeted critical Zephyrian infrastructure. His ships used advanced stealth technology to penetrate the most heavily defended systems and destroy key facilities. The Empire was losing its ability to project power across interstellar distances. The Battle of the Central Nexus marked the beginning of the end for Zephyrian resistance. The massive space station had coordinated Imperial military operations for centuries. Its destruction by a combined fleet of 12 species sent shockwaves through the remaining alien territories. Admiral Morrison coordinated the final assault on the Zephyrian homeworld from his flagship, the USS Liberation. The planet was defended by the last loyal fleet in the Empire, but even that force was riddled with ships whose crews had lost faith in their cause. Emperor Velnath appeared on communication screens for the first time in decades. The ancient ruler of the Zephyrian Empire looked exhausted and defeated. His silver eyes had lost their arrogant gleam, and his voice carried the weight of inevitable doom. "Admiral Morrison," the Emperor said with dignity that impressed even his enemies, "your species has accomplished what was thought impossible. You have united the galaxy against us and given our victims the tools to achieve victory. I offer the unconditional surrender of all remaining Zephyrian forces." The surrender ceremony took place on Terra Station, with representatives from 43 liberated species present. Emperor Velnath signed the document that formally ended 1,000 years of imperial rule. The galaxy was finally free to determine its own destiny. Dr. Jonathan Lee led the commission that would decide what to do with former Zephyrian territories. The challenge was enormous, since many of their worlds contained only the descendants of the original conquerors. These populations had never known any system except imperial rule. Captain Danny Clark commanded the peacekeeping forces that maintained order during the transition period. His ships protected former Zephyrian civilians from revenge attacks while helping them adapt to life in a galaxy where they were no longer the dominant species. The trials of war criminals proceeded carefully with justice rather than vengeance as the guiding principle. Commander Grace Patterson led the legal teams that prosecuted those responsible for the worst atrocities while offering amnesty to ordinary soldiers who had simply followed orders. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Bennett supervised the integration of former Zephyrian military units into the new Galactic Defense Force. Many alien officers chose to serve the free galaxy rather than face unemployment or persecution. Their knowledge of imperial military secrets proved invaluable. The economic transformation was as dramatic as the political changes. Dr. Helen Murphy coordinated the conversion of imperial slave labor systems into free market economies. Worlds that had exported raw materials for centuries began developing their own industries and trading as equals. Captain Steve Parker established the Galactic Academy on Earth, where young beings from dozens of species learned advanced technology and political science. The goal was to prevent future empires from arising by ensuring that knowledge remained widespread rather than concentrated. The final chapter of the Liberation War was written when the last Zephyrian holdout surrendered without firing a shot. Captain Gary Mitchell accepted the capitulation of a minor fleet commander who had been hiding in an asteroid field for 6 months. The galaxy was officially at peace for the first time in a millennium. Admiral Morrison retired to write the official history of the Liberation Campaign. His memoirs would be read by countless species as they worked to build a new galactic civilization based on freedom and cooperation rather than conquest and exploitation. The irony was not lost on human historians that the species the Zephyrians had dismissed as primitive had become the catalyst for galactic transformation. Earth's outdated warships had been the perfect cover for technology that revolutionized interstellar warfare and politics. Veltar spent his remaining years in comfortable exile on a human colony world. The former alien commander often spoke to students about the dangers of arrogance and the importance of respecting other species. His journey from conqueror to teacher became a symbol of the galaxy's transformation. The new Galactic Federation included over 300 member species, with Earth serving as the administrative center. The organization was built on principles of equality and mutual assistance rather than the domination that had characterized the old empire. Captain Morgan Ellis commanded the exploration fleets that pushed beyond the borders of known space. His ships carried advanced technology and the principles of freedom to regions that had never known liberation. The galaxy was expanding rather than contracting for the first time in centuries. The aliens had laughed at Earth's outdated warships, but humanity had waited for them to make the first move. That patience and planning had transformed a desperate defense into a galactic revolution. The hunters had indeed become the hunted, and the galaxy would never be the same.